Hello everyone and welcome back to round 5 of YCS Milan. We've got another big match lined up for you, so I want to get straight into it and introduce our contestants. First, Jack Verma, please come on in. How are you doing today, man?
I'm fine, I'm feeling excited, I'm confident.
Yeah, I can imagine. You're the German national champion at the moment. That's like one of the most competitive championships in Europe. Was that easy for you to win?
Not really, but it was possible, so yeah.
So, your tournament's going extremely well today. Are you feeling confident that you're going to get a good run at winning the tournament?
I hope so, yeah.
All right, man, if you'd like to take a seat. You'll still be the same height as me, sitting down. That's pretty crazy. And we'll call in your opponent, Gianluca. Please come on in. How are you doing today?
I am 4-0.
4-0, that's an incredible start. Are you feeling comfortable in your deck? You think you're going to win the tournament?
Maybe.
You need to be more confident. It's like, yeah, of course I'm going to win. I'm that guy.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries. Your best finish was top 16 of the Italian National Championships, right?
Yes.
So what was that experience like?
What?
How was your experience at the Italian National Championship?
Yeah, good experience.
Okay, you look like you're ready to play, so we should get you seated. If you guys would like to decide who's going first, and while you're doing that, I'm going to throw you over to our casters for this round, Marcello and Alberto.
Welcome back to the coverage of YCS Milan. So we have getting deep into the tournament. We are over the first half here in day one, and we decided to pick some of those players that are quite known, but not, let's say, for a particular reason over the others. Jack, and we can now freely talk since he's got his headphones on. For anyone following him, he got his breakout performance at this German national championship, but he kept on topping, kept on developing with Altergeist.
Yeah, he's one of those players who always playing the same deck and is being so consistent for the last few months. And it's quite surprising because Altergeist is not that popular in this period, but he has proved that it's still here. So
it's still here even after Multifaker got limited to 1, and he's still today playing Altergeist and is undefeated. So this is round 5. They're both undefeated at 4-0. But his opponent, quite a different caliber, let's say.
Yeah.
We know him quite well because he's also from Rome, so we used to play at some locals. We have both faced him multiple times, but he's one of those players that let's say doesn't travel to all of the events, but never miss a big Italian one.
Yeah.
And this is the biggest, let's remember, it's the biggest ever Italian event. What about his deck, though?
yeah, so Gianluca is now relying into a Orcus Sky Striker deck, and his main deck is Schoolmeister, which we haven't seen previously in our future matches. Maybe it's gonna be interesting. But
that's the big change from, let's say, the DD Crow that we have seen in most of the deck list. He is on Schoolmeister. Maybe we will see that. There are a few applications in Altergeist, but that's definitely not the matchup he was prepared for. While Jack, I feel like the big advantage of his deck is that Altergeist has a very solid core, and then you can keep on basically adapting it, play end traps, play different traps. It's working well for him. I'm honestly quite excited for this one. The die roll will be relevant, but maybe not so much. It is going to be a grind one.
exactly.
If our players are ready, I think we can jump over to the match. Okay, so let's take a look at the hands. Jack's not looking incredible. The duality is really going to be the crucial part of his opening, but
Let's see. Okay, so Gianluca started things off
going second, though. Yeah, so
with
pretty
the
good
return.
hand with Engage and Orchestrated Return, as good as it gets. Are you surprised that Jack is playing Ghost Ogre? I think it is the first time we've seen that card all weekend.
Yeah, it's quite weird because a lot of end traps right now are so good. Like, for example, DD Crow, we have seen a lot of players main decking 3 copies of it, and it's so weird for me because Ghost Roger is not that good right now, right?
Yeah,
Well,
it's, I mean, surprisingly, I just noticed that he's also playing Schoolmeister.
Oh,
so
okay.
they're both on the same train, let's say. They're both maining Schoolmeister. But yeah, the Ghost Ogre is definitely unconventional. It might be because his worst matchups are Sky Strike, like the more controlled decks. Like True Draco is also super popular
exactly.
today.
Yeah,
so.
he maybe wanting to have some alternatives to the other decks, also because Altergeist is generally good against the meta decks right now.
Absolutely. And Gianluca opening is probably as good as it gets. Double impermanence and Ghost Ogre is there for Jack, but outside of that, looking on the weak side. So
Would you rather Ogre it, the Galatea, I mean, or the impermanence? Like in this
it really
moment?
depends on what you think your opponent is gonna end on, because if they know you're on Alter guys, then they can set up in the way where they go for the Mascherina,
Yeah.
to even go for like Trisbania in the end phase, which is so good. It gets rid of all your back rows, so it's a tough one. But I don't think Gianluca knows what his opponent is playing. At the same time, we knew that Jack is like the Altergeist, the god in a way. So maybe there is a chance you can just guess that he's on Altergeist. So
Anyway, Gianluca has a lot of things going on here. Standard combo for
Yeah.
the Orcus.
are we just gonna see the Babel as usual, or do you think he's getting crescendo?
I think maybe he will take the Babel.
Yeah. It's interesting how it changed a lot. And guys, if you're seeing a different setup on the screen, is because Gianluca is left-handed, so the deck and the actually swapped, of course. But it shouldn't be too complicated to follow what's happening here. And yeah, the ending board, I don't think. Do you expect him to know what his opponent is playing, or do you think?
So if I were Gianluca, maybe I will think about it. I mean, I'm quite sure that I have seen previously
Yeah.
Jack in the future match. So honestly, maybe he could have seen him playing in the main event, but
yeah, it's still early on.
yeah, it's still early. So
Let's see, because now the Mascherina should come down. It's usually where
yeah,
you just
it's
play
what
it.
you usually do.
But he goes for...
Okay.
Wait, because he's going for that, but the way I thought you needed to do it is that you couldn't use the Link monster, so that's why
Exactly,
he's
yeah.
not able to go for
He's not able
Mascherina.
to go into
There was
it,
a
yeah.
little bit of a misplay here, not so little to be honest from Gianluca. Back then he could have gone for Mascherina with the Dingirsu. I don't know why he felt the need to actually use the Arpotter. By doing this, he's not able to go into Mascherina anymore. He would need to use the Gizmek in his hand to go for it, so maybe the emotions of playing on
Yeah.
stream are getting to him.
Yeah, it could have been easier for him. Like he had a standard move. This
Yeah,
is
we keep on repeating how important and how stressful it is to play on stream, but it is not just sentences. Like Jack won a big event streamed. It means that he played multiple times on camera and is used to it. While Gianluca, probably one of his first future matches ever.
I think it's the first one.
Yeah. And now the Silk is picked up, another not so great card.
So he really needs to find something out of his deck, and
Here is the Schoolmeister, the Ash Blossom, so nothing
Nothing
really
special.
outstanding. He was looking for most likely an engine card, so Marionette or Malusik. And this is the main problem of Altergeist. It's either incredible where you open even just one engine card gets you going, but when you're cut off the engine cards, it's tough because you don't have a lot of ways to search them.
So now, because it's Silikitus, it doesn't have really that much thing going on here. There's not that much he can do, because like he can just set its 3 back rows and just pray, I can say.
Yeah, he needs to stall and hope that he can get some pluses with those impermanents, setting them up in the same columns. But Gianluca also has a Cosmic Cyclone set, so he's not gonna make Jack's life easy.
Things are looking pretty good for Gianluca anyway, although there's more misplay we have seen previously.
Yeah.
But
And with the Babel online and no way to interact with it, he can get a lot of advantage.
yeah, now comes the Ghost Ogre, as we were saying before. I think Jack really needed to do that in this particular moment.
But now the Crescendo will be online for next turn, and in such a spot, it seems like it's gonna be Gianluca's game regardless of his misstep
Yeah, it's
with
looking pretty
Mascherino.
good for Gianluca because he has the Cosmic Cycle and he has the Crescendo, although Jack has two copies of Inferior Permanence and Compulsory.
It's a lot of damage as well, so...
Yeah. We're still in Jack's end phase, so a lot of things going on here. Gianluca activating his effect thanks to the Bebel's effect.
Yeah. Can you check like which targets Gianluca is actually playing outside of like the engage, the drones? Is he playing the jamming wave? That would be interesting to know, because like we have seen multiple players like going with afterburner jamming waves. It's like definitely not common in all of the
No,
builds.
he's not playing any copy. He's just playing the Hornet drone.
But he's siding it. He's
Yeah,
siding the one
it,
jamming wave.
which is
okay.
interesting, and I think it is a good choice.
Yeah, you definitely want to have
Yeah.
that as a searchable option when you're playing against this kind of decks. So.
Okay, so here comes the Skullmeister,
Yep.
and now it's Gianluca's turn.
But now Jack is left without any cards in his hand, only relying on his traps to save him. But those traps aren't the best one. They are mostly -1s, so it seems like Gianluca is free to do whatever he wants. He doesn't need to overextend too much, because then that compulsory might punish him. But outside of that, even if he just summons monsters to attack, those impermanents are useless. So.
Gianluca is in completely control of the game right now, and there's not that much that Jack can do also, because Gianluca has the Crescendo, as you were saying before, also the Cosmic Cyclone. I think it will wait anyway for the Cosmic Cyclone, because, you know, there's Alter guys, so there's a lot of continuous trap card.
And this does show you that the decision of Jack to play and main deck Ghost Ogre instead of something like Diddy Crow really punished him, because if that was a Diddy Crow, he could have stopped Gianluca entirely last turn, but now...
Yeah, in the last months we haven't seen Ghost Ogre so far. Like, it has been disappearing for like a consistent amount of decks.
Absolutely, and now, as we can see, he's just trying to figure it out which part of the effects wants to use. He's gonna try and destroy the Silk with the Gizmek.
Yeah.
And it is one of those cards where people initially started playing them in the Grand Maju deck and more of aggressive ones, but there is a protocol actually face down, which we don't have in the system, which does change this, not super significantly, but it's definitely relevant. And do you think, how impactful do you think that's going to be, though? Is it really going to change this game around?
Well, I don't think it's going to change the game anyway. I mean, it seems like I don't want to say the game is already over, but Gianluca is completely control of the game, although... So now Jack has a compulsory and impermanence. I mean, he can stop Gianluca, but there's not that much that Jack can do at all. Also because he only has one card in hand remaining.
Yeah, and it seems like at the end of the day, the protocol still wasn't enough. At least it allowed him to get quite a significant advantage, because he could have used it along with the Silk to get basically a compulsory and get the protocol back to his hand. But
do you think there's a reason behind why Jack continues to play Alter, guys? I mean, it's just likes the deck, or...?
yeah, I guess he's probably attached to it. But can you really blame him if he had that more success than most people, I guess, with it?
No, I mean, it's a good deck. I mean, it's one of those decks you don't really want to play against. I mean, you have to be scared of the deck when you play against him. It's like when you play against True Draco, you know? You know that feeling?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So. I know it. I wish some of my other opponents knew it. But unfortunately, no. But yeah, it's definitely something to take into consideration, especially at this large event. And no cliches involved, but especially in Italy, we usually see a lot of rogue decks.
Yeah.
So it's something that happens. We had Federico Mecozzi for the interview earlier yesterday, and he told us that he's scared to death by Subterror, because he keeps on losing to that deck. Although it isn't the most popular, but apparently that can happen. Again, Gianluca just ripping through Jack's cards. And 10 minutes are under the way. Time shouldn't be too much of an issue in this matchup, but I feel like they could be playing even a faster pace right now.
Okay, so he wants to change impermanence.
Yeah. So he changed the impermanence, and now the compulsory will bounce the Dingirsu back, leaving Gianluca significantly weakened. And he already used the Gizmak this turn, so he cannot bring it back. Which cuts him off basically any play for the remaining of the turn. So
This is gonna be so tough right now for Jack.
yeah, but at the same time he played very well with the few cards that he
Yeah.
had. He gets another compulsory, really not what he was looking for, and Gianluca will be able to activate the Gizmak during the end phase and just start smacking his opponent life points.
Things are looking pretty good for Gianluca anyway. Although, yeah, I mean, he really needed to find something out on his deck because, like, he only has the compulsory right now, right?
Yeah, only the compulsory, and
So now they're just verifying if everything is fine with the head judge.
no, it's
yeah.
it should be all
Everything
good.
is good.
The only thing we're
Yeah.
talking about is the situation right now. So the Phoenix comes down. It doesn't use its effect. He's thinking about which one to try and force out, but the Cosmic is also still face down from Gianluca, which means that in the worst case scenario, you can always use that.
Yeah.
Let's see which one he hits. The Engage is actually
Okay.
discarded. Wow. He didn't have any more targets, I think.
I think he doesn't have any more target.
Yeah, because he has the
Okay.
drones, Shark Cannon
Yeah.
and Widow. And now he can potentially even just flip the Cyclone if he feels brave, or just keep it for a potential, I don't know, compulsory, as the case is.
Yeah.
Kind of playing ignorantly, I guess, but sometimes it pays off.
Yeah, things are going pretty good for Gianluca right now.
So if we take into consideration like the die roll and everything else, especially with these builds outside of this game, who do you think is favorite in the matchup?
A lot of players didn't play right now the Red Reboot, you know?
Yeah.
But I was just looking at Gianluca's list and he's playing 2 copies in his side deck. I mean, it's quite interesting because it was not a card, it was not a popular card in the last months, but I think it's one of those cards like Evenly Match. Evenly Match has been popular for years, and right now a lot of players are playing it in the side deck, which is pretty good. But after side deck, I think Gianluca has a chance to win the match.
And now Gianluca activates the Cosmic out of nowhere, and the Phantasma in his hand is not gonna be able to be used, do you think? Well,
Yeah, I think on the when he summoned the when he summoned the Galatia, he activated the Cosmic Cyclone.
no, because the turn has passed, because he drew into the
Okay.
Phantasma, which is yet one more useless card for
Yeah,
Jack.
so there's
Well,
nothing Jack can do at the moment, and
absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you think there is a reason why he didn't chain it though? Because I guess he gives the Crescendo a card in
yeah,
the
I
graveyard.
think so. Yeah,
But now
I
this
would have
should be
activated
way
because,
more
like,
than enough.
It's over. Yeah,
And
game's over.
game's over. So Gianluca, although playing through his own mistake in turn 1, manages to find enough damage to win the game. And you can see him smiling. He definitely was frustrated by it and nervous, because, as we were saying, playing on stream is tough. But winning game 1 is a good feeling. And as you can see, there is a beautiful crowd watching us do this.
Both of those guys have a lot of cards in their side deck, but I mean, for sure, Gianluca will side in cards to go second, right?
Yeah.
But do you think Jack could consider the fact to go second instead? Like, would you consider it if you were? Because like he's playing System Down, which is a really impactful card. It's so huge. And,
Absolutely. It seems unlikely, but at the same time it could happen. As you're saying, he has cards like Evenly Matched, System Down, so all of those cards are really good at going second, while he doesn't side a single card going first against this matchup.
Yeah.
I guess the only one might be Imperial Order, but that's about it. And to be fair, his deck is well built against Orcus. He just didn't open any Altergeist card outside of the Silk, which is the worst one on his own. So
yeah. It's always been interesting anyway, seeing those decks, you know, the rock decks playing against the meta decks, because it's like, if you are able to win the first rounds against, you know, average player, then if you were able to win multiple events as Jack is a successful player, it can cause a lot of trouble to other players like, you know, Gianluca, even though he's now leading. So,
but here there is a big variance thing in Yu-Gi-Oh, which is unless you're talking about super professional players, let's say those guys that travel to every event, test with all the same friends, the place in which you play Yu-Gi-Oh, the shops, the locals in which you play Yu-Gi-Oh are gonna affect a lot of the average, let's say, players' mentality and choices. Gianluca, for example, as we were saying, is definitely a good player, but he plays more locally than the rest. And we can talk from experience because he's from the same local as us. There are a lot of rogue decks. Altergeist is not a deck in the format right now, but you play against it at our local, and that you can see in his side deck. He's playing Pancratops, Twin Twister, Red Reboot. He's like prepared for Altergeist. And this is not gonna be good news for Jack. So sometimes you're happy to play against these less experienced players, but sometimes these guys are just, I hate this specific deck, I wanna win against it, and it seems like this is the case. So
yeah, fortunately for Gianluca, our locals, like, we have all the different decks. So like, if we are like 30 people, like, we have at least 15 different decks in the room.
And now let's see what's gonna happen, because it's gonna be close, but I gotta give some advantage to Gianluca just thanks to his side deck.
Yeah, his side deck maybe will maybe put it in an advantage, also because, you know, Jack has a let's see who start. Anyway, Jackson is really good, even though he really needs to find something out of his deck.
Much better than before, and the worst case scenario, he has the spoofing for the manifestation. So this end is just looking incredible. And on Gianluca, definitely on the weaker side with Shark Cannon still being there, which is kind of shaky against Altergeist, I guess.
If you have to consider it, would you have studied out? I mean, he has the jamming wave, right?
He has a lot of cards to side in.
For example,
you can use it on the manifestation, but it doesn't seem like it's that good. So I'm surprised that
he could have swapped, for example, the jamming wave with the Shark Cannon, you know?
Yeah, and this end is incredible from Jack. Unless he got super unlucky with that extravagance, he's able to have the Melusik set up, and he does have a target left, so it means that I think the only card he could play around is Evenly Matched, but we'll see, because Evenly is not that popular right now, and outside of that, this hand is fantastic. So
yeah, but like, if you play this kind of deck, would you like consider Evenly Matched although you are losing 1-0? Like, would you take that? Would you take the risk, or?
It depends how many resources you think are needed to beat Gianluca. And for example, we know here that even through the Red Reboot, he would have the Call by the Grave. So I would definitely set that one, just in case. But it seems like he is gonna go
all in, maybe.
No, I don't think he's gonna go.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, he does go all in. So all in from Jack Verma. Let's see if Gianluca will be able to punish it. Pancratops is a good way to start it, but
I think the first card will be Upstart Goblin for sure.
The Upstart Goblin really needs to pick up something. The better cards probably
is the Red Reboot, maybe. Even though Jack has the cold body grave, but what
he
did he
picks up,
draw?
I think, a symbol.
Yeah.
And as you were saying, he has the option to engage into the jamming waves. So yeah. So
Yeah, I think anyway Jack has the control of this game. It's gonna be really tough for Gianluca to come back.
Yeah.
I mean, his end is fine, but there's so much thing going on for Jack. He has like
yeah, here
Sound Strike.
once more you can see how versatile the Sky Striker engine is, being not only a starter but a way to just try and push through your opponent resources. And Pancratops comes down. He could have waited for the jamming waves, to be honest, but now he's forced to use it before the jamming waves, which slightly confuses me, I guess. But
Yeah, I think he's maybe considering the fact that Gianluca could have in his deck the. Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So now the Solemn Strike comes down. The first of Jack's cards. Is he gonna use the Fake It right away? What do you think?
I think he's gonna wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's maybe yeah.
He's
maybe
gonna
really
wait, maybe still trying to play it safe through unevenly matched. And Gianluca basically just forcing him, trying to get a response out of his opponent. And the Kagari on the engage definitely needs to be negated here. So the problem is that there isn't a great response for it. But will it have another target in the deck? It should probably have the Widow Anchor.
Maybe the Widow Anchor, yeah.
So this is still looking very good. He can use the... Oh, and he doesn't use the jamming waves though.
Okay, this is...
He's prioritizing using...
the jamming waves is that... I mean, Link Kuribo is not that really a problem, right?
This is definitely...
I don't think Link Kuribo is like the prior problem in this situation.
Yeah, I'm definitely confused to why you wouldn't just jamming wave and then engage to get a draw. It's...
Yeah, it could have been much better also because like drawing a card, it's
yeah,
so powerful
it's
in
definitely
this situation.
I should have done it the other way around. I'm very confused to why he thought this was the better line. And here, sure, he's able to use the Shark Cannon on the manifestation, which is very fortunate because it's the only target.
It's the only yeah, I think it's the only spot you can use the Shark Cannon properly.
Absolutely, but showing you even once more why he should have used the jamming before the engage.
Yeah,
let's hope that
better.
that doesn't cost him the game, really, because in game one the situation was quite different. Here it's more complicated in a way, but it's also more simple. It's like something that comes to everyone's mind to just prioritize sending 3 spells and then engage.
And I really think Jack really knows what's going on. From what I remember, he has been playing this deck for more than a year because we played against each other in YCS Utrecht 2018.
Okay.
And he was playing Altergeist, so it's more than a year.
Yeah. And here it's basically a battle of attrition. How many traps does Jack have that are able to trigger his faker?
Yeah, I mean he has the spoofing. Yeah, he has the spoofing, but Cold Ball the Grave doesn't do much in this situation.
Yeah, the problem is that you can see in Jack hand. Another contradiction is that you cannot Phantasme the same turn you use Faker.
Yeah.
That's why you didn't see Phantasme coming down. And
okay. Oh, okay. He decided to use the Phantasme.
oh wow! So he goes for Phantasme, which means that unless I'm mistaken, he cannot use the Faker anymore because it says the turn you activate this effect.
Yeah.
So he will not be able to use multi-Faker this turn. Which is,
do you agree with his decision to special summon the Phantasme and to keep the multi-figure in hand?
I mean, you might as well use it, but if he wanted to go for this, then he could have just used it on the Kagari and have more information.
Yeah, I mean, he could have activated before and trying to get something out of his deck and then wait for Gianluca. Anyway, let's see. Gianluca still has the Widow Anchor in his hand,
And he picked up a Nibiru here, which is also quite a surprise. And I think up until now there has been, so it was the drones, the Pankra,
Yeah.
the Kagari, and now there are 5 summons already.
Yeah.
So the Nibiru is live whenever he wants to use it.
Okay, so
He doesn't want
he
to
doesn't
use
want to.
of course. And now he picks up something else, and it doesn't seem like Gianluca is left with much. The back row, one of them is the Widow, of course. The other is the Crescendo, which is unknown and probably annoying for Jack. But
Okay, here comes the Crescendo. I think he drew another copy of Spoofing, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
he drew another copy of Spoofing, and so let's see. He's just gonna attack, clear whatever Gianluca has, leaving him with the symbol engraved, and pretty much that's it.
Yeah,
Because the Widow is also can be negated by the Phantasme, so
Exactly.
it's not particularly good.
So he only has the Widow Anchor remaining. So
Yeah.
let's see what he. Oh, did he drawing? Oh no, did he draw engage?
Are you surprised by the Nibiru being in the deck when Jack chose to go first?
Yeah, this is pretty weird. I mean, maybe he thought about it. I mean, he maybe sided out a lot of cards and he didn't have nothing else to side out, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense at all, right?
I mean, it's interesting. I guess when they go first, usually Nibiru is pretty bad, but when they are trying to break your board, there is a better chance that they're gonna overextend, so maybe that's his reasoning.
Or maybe he could have side out the Ghost Ogre.
Yeah,
for
I mean,
the
for
Tony
sure,
Bureau.
but you do have some space in the deck, so. And the Imperial Order is definitely something that you side in against the
Yeah.
Striker version of Orcus. Anyway, now they're still trying to play into this, and
Okay, you drew another copy of Engage, but maybe he doesn't have any target left in his deck.
yeah, also
Oh,
in the option in which
yeah.
like your opponent goes for the reboot and try to OTK, Nibiru is also a really good option there. But unfortunately, Gianluca did not pick up any copies, but he picked up the Engage. Wow.
Okay, so really well played here by Jack.
Yeah.
Who's changing the spoofing effect to shuffle back the multi-figure so he can get a special summon he can search. So not that much Gianluca can do in this spot. So he gets a special summon for the multi-figure and then he can search for spoofing.
Yeah, but now the Engage from Gianluca is quite a big deal. So
Yeah.
let's see. Can he find enough? Let's see.
It depends if he banished the copies he have of his Alter Guys monster in this extra deck, but I think it would be enough anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think Altergeist is one of those very unique decks where they play just like any other rogue
indeed,
deck. But then, if you give them a turn, they combo off, they can OTK, they can put up a good board, and that's what Gianluca knows. He picks up his card because there are only 12 minutes left, so it's 1-1, and we're gonna see a game 3.
Yeah, as we were saying before, I mean, Alter Guys is one of those decks you really don't want to play against, because although it's one of the non-meta decks, let's say, it's always so difficult to find a way to easily win, let's say. And
Absolutely.
Do you think Gianluca may consider the fact to go second just because of his side deck? I mean, he has a lot of cards going second, and maybe he could consider, but
I mean,
will he take the
it's,
challenge, or maybe, you know, it's on stream?
Yeah, after
why-
what you've seen, I don't think it is too correct. I mean, you can expect a lot of entraps from your opponent, but at the same time, if you go first, you set up the Trisbane. There are very few things that can happen, and it's gonna be close. To be honest, looking at this side deck, you can go second, and I think most of his cards are really good at going seconds, and I do like letting Altergeist go first, depend if you have such a side deck,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's quite an advanced play, so maybe as you were saying, he's doing the best he did in his life, let's say, because 4-0, he's still undefeated on stream, so...
No, maybe he just want to play his cards, so
Yeah.
he maybe is going first and hope Jack doesn't have anything,
'Cause
like Nibiru's or something.
Like, those decisions are usually the decisions in which you either look incredibly intelligent or you can end up being slightly dumb, you know. And unfortunately, that shouldn't be result oriented, but it is just what's gonna happen anyway. Because if you throw the reboot, the pancra, whatever, everyone is gonna say you're a genius. If you don't, then you're gonna be like the cause of your own defeat. And
anyway,
it isn't easy to choose.
Anyway, Jack does have a lot of cars going second because, as you were saying before, he doesn't side in any cars at all going first, except for the Imperial Order.
They really don't. And now, let's take a look at this end. I do see the Phantasme and the Ash Blossom from Jack. So regardless if he's going first or second, he would have some interruptions. But the decision is on Gianluca's end, who is gonna start this game 3 here in round 5, YCS Milan.
Okay, so I can see that Gianluca has 2 copies of Pancratops in his hand, so that led me think that he maybe decided to go second. So,
and he does.
So he took the challenge. Okay,
pretty good.
Okay,
I really like this play from Gianluca. Jack does have the Cold Body Grave for the Ash Blossom, so it is gonna be close. And unfortunately, it doesn't open any monster, which means that those Pancratops are pretty much useless.
Gianluca has a really incredible hand because he has another copy of Allure of Darkness, and then he also drew a copy of Return, and he will draw a lot of cards. Also, there's Reinforcement of the Army being dropped by Gianluca.
Do you think it was correct not to use the Reinforcement before the Allure?
I think I would have activated Reinforcement before, maybe just to have less cards in the deck and draw powerful cards instead.
And it's also a good Dark to banish in case you open an Orcus and the Return, as we can see here. Because now the Return is not that great, but another Allure of Darkness is picked up. Can you get an Orcus monster? Is the symbol.
Also
and the Grapher, okay. So probably you can banish the Grapher here.
Yeah, you can banish the Grapher. Maybe the Grapher,
So you banish the Grapher, then you have the Return. And this is such a turbo opening from Gianluca, just spinning through his deck. And to be honest, it's quite absurd if he doesn't pick up the Reboot here, because he has so many draws to see one of those cards. He get the Cosmic, which is a huge pickup.
Do you remember the old times?
Wow.
Destiny drew into Malicious, Destiny drew into Malicious.
Exactly. That's really reminding me. Like the first time Allure of Darkness was released back in Phantom Darkness, it's like, how many? Like 9 or 10 years ago now.
It was like,
So much time has passed. Okay, so Ash Blossom is dropped, but still in a decent spot. At the same time, if he goes for the set Cosmic Cyclone, this could be game over.
Yeah, I think Gianluca really needs to.
He passes,
but Jack really
plays
well
it
played
well.
by Jack.
Very well played here by Jack. Jack understands that his opponent might have had the Cosmic. He doesn't use it in the end phase. Fantastic play here.
As I was saying before, Jack has been playing this deck since a year, so he really knows what is going on. And he decided not to activate the spoofing before the end phase, but instead in his turn. So really well played by Jack here.
Yeah, it's quite a show of how well he knows the deck. I think most players would have definitely used the spoofing there, and now you can see that he's just gonna go for it. It was very unfortunate for Gianluca at the same time to draw basically through alpha.
Yeah, I mean, like he drew 6 cards and unfortunately didn't really draw anything good.
It's definitely unfortunate. He basically saw the first 15 or so cards from his deck, and you can take a look at his hand and those Pancratops. If those would have been Reboot or something else, he could have really pushed here.
So we can understand why Jack decides still to play Alter, guys, right?
yeah. And to be fair, if you know it that well, might as well.
Yeah.
Until it works, I guess. Until he goes to an event and does so bad that he can hang up the deck too. Yeah. And here again, kind of showing what he can do with the deck.
Yeah, I mean, he has everything he needs. He has also the Phantasme, and things are going really well for him. While on the other side, Gianluca, I mean, he has the Pancratops and the Cosmic Cyclone, but he has not that much going on.
So let's see if that's gonna be enough. Jack almost flexing at this point, to be fair. It's like just going in and not showing any mercy for his opponent, which now really
Ash
needs.
Blossom.
Yeah, it draws the Ash. And,
Yeah, I mean, we were saying this before. I mean, although Gianluca won game one quite easily, we can say Alter guys is really difficult to play against. Also because like it's really quite complicated because it's one of those rogue decks which has a lot of powerful actions and cards. So, and like in this specific spot, you can see Jack is really speeding things up, and now it also comes the protocol on the Ash Blossom.
And yeah, as you can see, so let's wait for a moment. Because as we can see, the Cold Body Grave was activated on the Ash Blossom last turn, so as you can see, they are just telling them, but it doesn't stop you from activating it. It is just not gonna have an effect.
Exactly.
So it's basically gonna be a wasted card, and it seems like
they're just checking graveyards, just to clarify the situation. But I mean, nothing happens really, so it just changed the protocol as Ash was
no,
used.
of course. I mean, at
happens.
the same time, first of all, you cannot negate the Altergeist card already, and you can still activate the Ash, but it's not like if that would have resolved, it would have changed the game entirely. It's definitely Jack's one, but Gianluca trying his best. No matter what happens, these guys are still competing in this event. Who wins is going to be on 5-0, who loses on 4-1,
so
which is
still a good record, right? So 3 rounds remaining for today. So
pretty good start of the tournament. And the more this event go on, the more you will play against very experienced players. So you need to start winning these games, where there might be some line. Because sometimes in Yu-Gi-Oh you don't have too much of a decision line, you know. They just have the perfect answers. While in these kind of games where your opponent mistakes might give you an edge, you really need to take them.
So now Jack is considering to activate the spoofing. Okay, no, he says it's fine anyway. I think he's in total control of the situation.
He
so
doesn't
I really
feel threatened. So.
Also because Gianluca unfortunately doesn't have anything else but the Pancratops.
Yeah, there are basically 2 ways to play control decks. One is interact with the first card your opponent is gonna throw at you and try to negate as many as possible. The second way, more difficult, is know exactly to what card you're gonna lose and when, and just wait for those. No need to waste your resources on anything that's not super important.
Yeah, you can understand from Gianluca's body language that unfortunately there's nothing that he can do, and the game is almost over.
He's starting to realize what's gonna happen, and again, not the end of the world, but this guy is really fighting for it. They almost took the entire 40 minutes to end this, and Pancratops gonna be chained, not gonna do anything. Just gonna be negated by protocol, and seems like Jack once more is gonna be undefeated with Altergeist in 2019.
Yeah, I mean, so as I was saying before, I mean, Jack is one of those players that has been playing this deck since a whole year, so he really knows what is going on, and it's working really good for him. So it's 5-0, it's a huge record in this YCS, the biggest YCS we have ever had in Italy.
Yeah.
And I mean, hopefully
a lot of Italians,
we'll go undefeated.
almost, more than 800 Italians players, but up until now they haven't been that lucky on stream, I think. So maybe we'll see if who is gonna come on top, but they need to defeat a lot of Italians to get there.
Yeah.
Is this gonna be the last turn from Gianluca? Let's find out. He does have the second Pancratops ever since the opening end, and you can see Jack smiling, finally knowing what were in those 6 useless cards.
Okay, here comes the Ash Blossom, and yes, Gianluca is just now considering, and he has to considering it pretty quickly because there's only 1 minute left on the clock. Yeah,
and with the 1 minute left, the handshake comes down. Jack wins the match 2-1. Let's go quickly back to us for the post-match interview. So, very, very good show. Both of these guys, of course, very different players. Jack accomplished in all senses. He took a deck which was considered by everyone on the weak side, Alter guys.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't give up. He lost game 1, and after that, I mean, he really had a good side deck. You said that before. He didn't side in too many cards, and then after that, he was able to win game 3.
Absolutely. Sometimes it is the deck, sometimes it is the pilot. With Jack, it might be a little bit of both, but he's definitely showing consistency throughout. Especially in 2019, I gotta say. I think he topped most of the events he was at with the same deck, just keep on adapting it.
And still rocking.
Still rocking it. So we gotta give credit to him. Hopefully we'll be able to see him in Top Cut, but once more, congratulations to Gianluca. He kept his calm, although he was playing against a very good player on stream. And there were a few missteps here and there, but in the end, it could have gone either way.
Yeah, exactly.
They could have taken it, but congratulations once more to both of these guys. We have 3 more rounds for the day, but before jumping on to those, let's go to Matt and Jack for the interview.
Hello, everyone. And Jack, wow, that was great, man. Great comeback after losing that first game. How do you feel?
I'm feeling fine still, and yeah, I'm excited for the next rounds.
So what made you decide to play Altergeist this weekend over any of the other decks?
I play Altergeist all the time, and I don't like decks like Orcus who can lose directly to one hand trap or just go for nuts. And so I don't think it's the best deck for like a tournament that has 11 rounds.
Yeah, so sticking with good old reliable for you. Is there any matchups that you are trying to avoid this tournament?
I don't like the Draco matchup and the Pendulum matchup,
Are those matchups winnable for you, or are they pretty much like auto losses?
Yeah, like every matchup is winnable since post the side deck. And yeah, I prepared well against these matchups, but yeah, you cannot win every time,
Yeah, that's just how Yu-Gi-Oh goes. So, do you have any closing thoughts? Anybody you want to say thank you to back home?
Yeah, I want to shout out my team, Team Frozen Card Gaming, and my family and friends in Berlin.
All right, Jack, thank you so much. Best of luck with the rest of your tournament. Guys, stick around. We'll be back with the next round real soon.